guys and girls, Russ, aka Super X Drifter here. The purpose of tonight's video is talking about these bad boys right here. Decided to make, now that I've had this one for a month. I was without it for a couple of weeks, about a week and a half while I sent it off to have a Kydex holster made for it. And I was jonesing, but I wouldn't have sent it off if I didn't have this one in hand. This one got me through. It sucked not having two, because I'll tell you the benefits of having at least two, but I thought the first movie I made was kind of a real brief look, because it was like the second day I had it. Now I've owned them for a month, and I've got a third one on the way. These SunBox, this video particularly is about the E8 Modulos. A comparison between the brand new one that I just got and one that was probably an earlier 2015 model. I'll show you there are differences in them. But this, all in all, I guess a good way to preface this video was up until a month ago I hadn't had any experience with regulated mods. I never saw myself using a regulated mod. I just didn't see the benefit. And why would you use a regulated mod? Max are fine. I don't know how to sum it up. But let's just say everything you knew about contact maintenance using mech mods, just throw it out the window. Because there is none. There's no contact maintenance whatsoever. And to me that's pretty huge. Because having used mechs for a while, I would say that contact maintenance is not the end-all thing in the world. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it is a part of life. The lower you build, the more you're maintaining your contacts, and depending on the mod, it could be more or less labor-intensive or tool-intensive. Again, nothing the end of the world, but imagine a life with none of that. Okay, that's probably the biggest thing that people now that have asked me, that have seen me running these, I'm posting pictures of them. Squonker's Paradise here, throwing down for my boys, girls, women, chicas at Squonker's Paradise. My man John Vanis, I think that's the way you say it, it might be Venice, but I think it's Vanis. Consulted with him quite a bit before I, really got into the whole SunBox thing. I've asked him about deals on the classifieds. Timothy Moore, another cool dude in Squonker's Paradise. Just a bunch of helpful people. Paolo himself, just the conversations I've had, the reassurances I've gotten about these mods, just how, what's the word I'm looking for? Robust, I guess you would say they are. It took away all my fears. I thought I need to have mech because, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, short of probably throwing this thing against the wall, I don't think you have any worries. I've gone out with them pretty much everywhere I go now. I just take a SunBox. I don't back it up with a mech or two SunBoxes. Just take a SunBox and a battery. And the cool thing is they're 10 milliliters, so you're not taking juice. I mean, if you're going to vape your 10 milliliters in a 4 or 5 hour out session, you are vaping hardcore. But the other thing today is Andrea Montino's birthday. So this video is made on Andrea's birthday, so I might as well say happy birthday, Andrea. In Spanish they say feliz cumpleaños. I don't know how it is in Italian, but a feliz cumpleaños and or a happy birthday, brother, will have to do. Andrea is also a man at SunBox, from what I understand. I don't know much about the company. I always talk to Paolo. I know that his mods are freaking excellent. We're going to go into why. I mean, there's a night and day difference between these mods and the mechs that I've come to know and love, and a lot of them cost about the same as these do. The recenter ones that I've gotten cost about the same as these. So we're going to turn the camera around and we're going to look at them and we're going to see what you get for roughly the same price as these newer American mechs that are coming out, which are by all means solid mods. I mean, they're going to be around forever. Some of them cost a lot less and they run awesomely. But when I look at the value, I think you'll see here in a minute too, the value you get for the same money in a SunBox, it's almost like the math doesn't add up. Okay, so let's take a look at that, and kind of losing my train of thought here, but contact maintenance gone. Knowing where your battery at, huge to me. I mean, I know where my battery's at, I don't have to guess. I used to feel it falling off, but you're always pulling it apart. You're always pulling out little checkers from time to time to see all these little things that are kind of a part of a mech mod user's life have suddenly vanished. But the vape stays the same. The vape from pull one to pull whatever, halfway through the day, 3/4 through the day, it's the same, exactly the same, until I get a little weak battery signal. And how I've been dealing with that lately, now that I have two and a third en route, is when one gets weak, I'll plug it into the USB charger. They charge on a little USB. Well, kind of probably getting a lot ahead of myself here. Let's look at that when I kind of turn it around and come over here and look at the mods, okay? So why don't we just do that? I think that's probably more exciting than looking at me, wouldn't you say? All right, let me do that. So here we have the two SunBoxes. The brand new one, this one I would call like the latest edition 2015 E8 Modulo red. This is an earlier 2015 edition E8 Modulo in titanium gray. Let's get a look at them side by side. You'll notice that these two mods have different catch cups. This one is called the UFO. It accepts a 22mm atomizer. This one is called the Ultra. It accepts a 22mm atomizer as well as a 14mm atomizer. I don't use, this is like a beat up old atomizer. I think it still has a drip tip broken off in it. This was one I used on a torture test mod. But let me just show you how this one goes down for starters. You screw in your 14mm atomizer. And it looks pretty cool. But look at this. It actually goes down in there. It's a telescopic Catchcup. This one, the Ultra. For those of you that want the 14mm, still have the Catchcup style deal without it right up on top. And that's not the way I run mine, because I don't run beat up old or brand new or any 14mm atomizers. They're not my deal. So that's the versatility of that Catchcup. It's a little bit more complex. The UFO, I know for a fact because I've already taken one out, simply is a very easily changeable cup. Let's look in there. We're going to look. I mean, we're really going to get into these mods. I want to show you guys all about them, everything about them. And you can see the bottom projection of the UFO in there. Basically, you get, I think it's a 5 or a 6mm socket or a little wrench, a box wrench. Take that screw off. It just goes on that nut off. It's very easy to take off. It doesn't take a lot of pressure. Take out this little Allen nut, and then this you'll just put. It takes a little force. My boy Timothy told me to put a rubber band around it and grab it with some channel locks. But then when I realized that that's all it does is unscrew, I just grabbed it with like a paper towel and it unscrewed. As you can see, it's threaded. So for anyone that's wondering about how difficult or hard it is to change one, I don't know why you'd ever need to change one unless, for instance, you bought a second-hand one and it got really contaminated with juice. Because this is an extremely well-made connector slash catch cup. It's silver. It's got the silver parts on it. That's a brass nut and some brass fittings that don't come in any contact with juice. The hose slides right up over the top of it, and very simple and easy to interchange. One of the coolest features about it, and I've dealt with several different 510s in my life, this is the first one I've ever seen that when you adjust it with this Allen key that comes with your mod, every bit that you turn it, actually, like if your air hole is pointing here and you want it right here, that's where it winds up. I guess when Paolo set out to design this and to build it, he executed it such that the threading matches that of a 510, the adjuster, so it's pretty much an exact adjustment to your atomizer. A lot of them you have to kind of fiddle with and guess where's it going to go. It takes multiple things. If your air hole is starting out at 12 o'clock and you want it over here at 9 o'clock or anywhere in between or further, that's exactly how much you turn this thing, and it goes. Something else, people with new mods, I went through it myself. When I got this one back, I decided, hey, I just want to change out my 510. I want to change out my UFO. One of the things that you'll notice is this thing can be seated, and when you get a new mod, it may be seated all the way down in there, or if you're buying one secondhand or whatnot, and you might get a check atomizer reading when you get your mod. And you're going to freak out. Oh, I'm going to have this one tightened down, so it's doing things to it that probably wouldn't normally do. So I probably shouldn't be using this one, because normally this is all tight, and you're just tightening this. There's a little 510, and there's a little pin in there. Okay, so you'll tend to freak out and you'll go, wow, I'm getting this check atomizer, and I even reached out to Paolo, but by the time he had responded, and even Timothy responded to me, because I just reached out to everybody, I realized that I had this was in from transit or whatnot, and it wasn't making contact with the atomizer. So if you get a check atomizer on a new mod, or any mod you get, when you hit the button, it just blinks, like kind of flashes like intermittently, check atomizer. Just back this out till it makes contact with your atomizer. Then once it's no longer saying check atomizer, then you can make your adjustments to get it to where it's firing properly. So that's pretty much it. I like the UFO. I've ordered my new one, the one that I have coming. It's called an E7. It's a real custom one that Paolo made for me. It's going to be a mill finish. You'll get to see it soon. I can't wait to get it. I wanted a UFO because a UFO is something that even someone with the little mechanical abilities that I have can very easily change it should anything ever happen to it. I don't think it's going to wear out at all, period. Another thing before I get really far into anything else on these mods, I'm going to say these two, whatever Catchcup I've had on them, be it the UFO or the Ultra, you never see juice anywhere around the outside of this thing. There's no O-rings required. It never puts juice anywhere here around your atomizer unless you over-squonked it, which I really don't do. Most people don't. But that's the only time you will probably ever see juice on any of these cups, is if you very viciously over-squonk it and it comes out the air holes of your atomizer. Something I'd pay particular attention to and probably try and avoid, particularly on a regulated mod, because you don't want to really get juice and all that stuff around the chip. But I'm going to go into my opinion on that here in a little while too. So that said, looking deeper inside, remember the modulo basically means that it comes apart. All the parts come off them, okay? And they're interchangeable. Let's look at a couple of the differences before we go much further and look at the mods like in any real detail. What's different between the newest one and an earlier 2015 one other than the Ultra Catchcup? Well, I didn't catch this, but John Vanis caught it in my picture. The squonk hole is lower and bigger, as you can see when I put these two doors together. On the newer one, it's got a bigger squonk hole, or let's just say a lower squonk hole. How's that? Let's just say it's a lower squonk hole. And I find it to work really well. Okay? Works extremely well. It's the same, this door, Paolo gave me this door as a little gift. I think it's off the chain, this carbon. I mix it up between them. But that's what it is. The squonk hole is lower. It might be a little bit different shape too, or close to the same size, but I tell you what, I do kind of like it. I find myself now I run this carbon on this one. We'll get into all the interchangeability. You can get carbon here, 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 if that was your thing. For every different panel, there's different options in panels. You can run your straight up panels, for instance, as we were running them before. These panels are on here, they don't come off. Okay? You could run the panels that come with them. You could run the carbon panel here. Except again, you can get carbon here, here, here. You can run your red here. You got to put the right one on though. Never claimed to be the most brilliant person on earth. You hear that snap? I mean, this is quality. Now, I understand why this button makes a noise. It's the only button that makes. These ones don't. If this button were, in my opinion, didn't have a little play in it, it's kind of like the throttle on a dirt bike or the trigger on a gun. It's got to have a little play. If it wasn't, in my opinion, it would probably auto fire quite a bit. So I think that's designed intentionally. I'm sure the guy that designed this mod can make that button completely quiet if he so chose. I wouldn't alter it or tamper with it. To me, it works perfectly. Okay. So while we're looking at the outside of the mods, let's take a look at the fit. They're repelling each other. That's cool. Look at the fitment on the panels on these mods. I remember these mods start their life as a solid billet of aluminum. These are solid billets, and they're milled out. They're CNC'd. Okay. And as you'll notice, looking at the insides of them, there's a bunch of intricate milling that goes on to make a SunBox. This is not just a block of metal with some holes in it. There are some intricate millings in this mod. Let's just admire it, if you will. Let's just look at that view. Okay, look at the cleanliness up there. Never again. This is another place I'll tell you that impressed me, because anyone that's watched any of my videos or knows anything about me knows that if I see juice anywhere in a mod, I go into like full freak mode. I just freak out, and I've got to find out what it is and why it is and what's causing it. I can't stand juice anywhere except in my atomizer and in my bottle and in the places that it goes to put it into that bottle. If it's in a mod, on my hands, anywhere else, I don't like it. So if there's a mod that's leaky, I probably won't use it much. Probably not at all. I'm lucky to not have any of those. But let's just look up in there. Look how tight that is. Remember, this was a solid billet of aluminum. Also notice that the entire mod is anodized. It's not just anodized on the outside or on this side or that side. The fact that it's completely anodized, high quality. I mean, looking at it, and a bunch of magnets to hold it all in. I mean, I just can admire looking at the insides of these mods, pretty much. Look at what goes on. Let's look at the back side. Here's the difference in the two connectors as well. Here you go. Look at that. It's a whole lot of milling, wouldn't you say? So then you've got this telescopic connector and some heavy gauge wire. I don't think, looking at this one, this is a solder job. This one isn't, I mean, there's probably plenty of people that could interchange that. I don't know. To me, this one was enough with my mechanical abilities. Mainly I have a lack of patience. Not that I can't figure stuff out. It's just I usually break stuff if I try to get into it. But yeah, this one has got a lot more going on to it. Okay, to accommodate both of those. And what I understand is there's a new one out right now too. I think it's called the BFX or the UFO X that is like a 14, 16, and 22. So they're constantly innovating over there at SunBox. They're not just sitting on something and going, let's just keep pimping these mods until, you know, we run out. They're just, even in the same model, from one model to the next, from several months to the next, you'll notice little changes. There's probably other changes in it too. These are the USB charging slots. This is kind of cool to me. I've been using it more and more. Yeah, they take a standard 18650. That's what this mod runs on. They run this way. They run upside down. But the USB slot, when you have two mods, allows you basically to hardly ever take your battery out of your mod, because you'll vape one. As it's starting to get weak, you'll plug it in, set it over there, you know, on your computer, on the charger, on the USB cable that comes with the mod, or one that you furnish, the micro USB, your own. There is one that comes with it, but I just use one that's already cranked open. And it charges it up. This goes from red to green in about 3 hours with this 3000, I think it's a 3000 HG2. I love these HG2s, LG HG2s. So while that's charging over there, I'll do it kind of while I'm working during the day. I'll be vaping another one. And then when this one gets a weak battery, like probably like, I don't know, sometime around after dinner, I'll plug it in. So I wake up to a fresh one. I've got one going. It's just, you're able to rotate without taking your battery in and out. Like I said, there's no contacts to maintain. You've got a spring there. Something I thought was cool when I got this new one is I just love that red right there. I mean, you look at this, these mods have like a design feel to them. I believe Paolo was an architect, is involved in architecture and design, and you get to see it in these mods. I mean, just little things like this, that kind of matches that. That mod, when you buy a new one, I know I'm getting all over the road, but there's things that I want to think about. Even like the cables. This is kind of what comes with the brand new one. You get two bottles, one on the mod and the hose, and you get a spare bottle. I had a walkthrough video, but I had to take it down because it kind of had my address showing on it. It wasn't a walkthrough; it was a product opening video. Even the USB is kind of color coordinated. This is tight. I haven't opened it because I want to just something this. I have other ones open. Okay, you get the Allen wrench that adjusts the 510. You get hoses. I have a bunch of other Cappies, so I just have my hoses in there in the bottle. The Cappy bottle within itself is a killer bottle. It's a design to squonk. You get a sticker, you get a card. And you get this deal where Paolo, I believe it would be Paolo Volpe, goes through and checks all the components of the mod and makes sure they work. It's a whole checklist that he goes through. Okay? And pretty much the date that you got it. Okay? So, box version 2. So we got the Modulo, we got a Classic. A Classic has a fixed back. These are versions of the E8. So there's what comes with the new SunBox when you get it. Now bear in mind, this mod right here, shipped from Italy with everything you see there. Basically everything but an atomizer and battery. Everything you see here is just about 400 and what? I forget what it was. Euro is one thing. I want to say it's like $450 shipped from Italy. And I keep failing to mention, this has a DNA 40 board in it. This isn't just a mech mod. This extreme milling innovation and just freaking look at it. I mean, look at all the work that goes into this mod. Look at the amount of effort it would take and the thought to make a mod like this for basically the same price as a lot of American mechs are selling for. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they're good mechs. They're beautiful mechs. But when I put these next, when I think of what I'm getting value for dollar wise here versus $400 in American money, again, great mods, but until you get one of these in your hands, and I'm looking at even these C-frames that people are vaping with like stabilized wood, they don't even squonk. People are paying outrageous, ungodly prices for them. When I look at this, this is a solid mod, very well thought. It squonks. I mean, it's as simple as to get one of these vaping. I didn't want to put together because I want to kind of admire them more. Because anyone that hasn't seen them up close, like a real good look at the whole innards of one, the outards of one, I guess if that's a word. All the fitment, kind of the precision that goes into these. So those are the only three differences I'm aware of. Well, two really is the cups and the squonk hole position and possibly a little bit of the size. Okay. I'm not sure if this is always changed colors with the mod. Don't know. But these both look pretty well brand new. This one had this little nick on it when I got it. This one was brand new when I got it. This one's probably, what, 3-4 months old, something like that. This one is about 2 weeks old. Except third one on the way. It's en route. It's been shipped. I was hoping it was coming today, but that one's an E7. That one's going to be really special. You guys will see it really soon. So that's that. So let's go ahead now. You get your mod. You see these Cappy bottles. They have an offset hole. They're a 10 milliliter bottle. They basically, I don't want to mess with one with juice. I'm one of these kind of guys that I keep bottles full of juice and I hot swap on my mod. So I'll fill all my bottles up, keep them out of the way. Well, this is my way of how I deal with the Cappy. I just put one of these clips on here and it pretty much stops off the bottle. So the way the Cappy works, the Cappy bottle, pretty ingenious if you were to ask me, is the cap is actually, it's like a male part and it goes into a female receiver. These bottles were designed by SunBox just for SunBoxes, kind of to mate up with these E7 modulos, E8 modulos, E7 modulos, and E7 classics, because of the way I'll show you here in just a second. You see how the top of this bottle is somewhat offset? Well, that allows a straight, and this is how these go down. You don't unscrew them in the mod. You just, let me move these bottles out of the way. You don't unscrew them and mess around with the top. I mean, I'm sure there's people that do them all different ways, but the way I do is I just take it off there and I have another one ready, because if you're not careful, if you wait too long, like maybe longer than 30 seconds, you might get a drop of juice out of there. So all you basically do is this. Once you have a full bottle, just slide it on there. And that's it. When you gently pinch the bottle, the juice comes up. Squonker's paradise, baby, right there. Okay? So we'll do the same with this one. We'll get it up. We'll get it running. Pretty simple deal. What I'd like to do is make sure I line it up first. But so what the Cappy bottle does for a SunBox is it makes it a straight run, basically. If you put them in right, anyway, you got to put them in right. You can't. It's a straight run for the hose up into the deal, and allowing that big fat 10 milliliter bottle to come along and make it happen. Okay, so I think this Cappy bottle was another innovation that took place after they had already made this mod, and it was another thing that Paolo just decided, hey, let me make a bottle that works with this mod, and I get a straight feed tube shot right up into the connector there. So there's the two connectors. popping in a battery, remember, in an E8, basically always the negative is going to go on a spring. Now you'll see my negatives, my batteries might look a little bit like scratched, but remember there's no contacts to maintain. The chip the chip regulates everything that's going on. You're not relying on a contact within the mod, a mechanical contact opening and closing. So the battery just slips in, okay? Same with this one, same deal, upside down. I always, when I take in and out a battery, I always have both sides of the door off. That way I can kind of guide this one up here in the top and pop it in, okay, and that's it. It's got a little stopper back there, and there's your battery. Now a little trick I've learned, you can, when the mod is together, you can push on the battery or the bottle to loosen that door. I just have like a little wooden stick to take that back door off, and I'll just kind of go like that, pop it out. See what I'm saying? And then you can get that back door and it's open, and now you have access to all sides of the mod. That's the features of the Modulo. It's a modular mod that has kind of this frame and doors that interchange, and they all fit. I've never tried that before. That's not bad either, is it? It's kind of tight. But the way I typically will run them is this carbon door was on here. Looks tight as hell on here. Or, as of late, I've been running the carbon door on this one. It just has a kind of a slickness to it. Why? Because I've gotten used to liking this squonk position. Remember, on this door, it's in a little bit of a different position. See, it's up higher. It's a higher position. So, since that's the case, I just run my carbon fiber, and that's real carbon fiber. That's nothing faux. It's the real deal. And that's that. Okay, and this door goes on here. Door. These are not doors, they're panels. And there's your mods right there. They got the Evolve DNA 40. I don't know why I'm doing 27.7. I could do 27.6. I can do whatever. 28. I just think 27.7 looks cool. And what the Evolve DNA 40 tells you is essentially, let's put an atomizer on, okay? Let's put atomizers on. I've been running this one right here with the black trim ring on this one with the carbon door. Okay, what a buttery smooth 510. I don't jank it down on there, I just put it nice and tight. Nice and snug. Tight is not the word, just snug. This one essentially the same way. They have a different look, but notice again, watch when I get this one on here. Look at the precision of the fit. Now I have moved, when I put in that other atomizer, you could see that my air holes are out of place where they want to be. So let me show you now that alignment technique. They were over there. Now I might even have moved them further because I don't know what that 14 did. So it was somewhere over here, and it might have been bottoming out on the top of the Catchcup too. But let's just say I want my air hole here. Now again, this is just going to be a trial because again I don't know how far that had gone in when I put that little 14mm Addy on there. But when I get this right, you will see a very precision fit on this Catchcup. So yeah, I'm still down there and never went, oh, the other thing I could be is this could pull up a little bit. Yeah, I think I've turned that screw down in there by putting on that 510. So all we basically have to do is let's come up in it till we make some contact. And then we'll do some fine tuning on it here to get that air hole exactly where we want it. Get the Addy down where it's very close. I don't like it bottoming out on the top. That's not my deal. Okay, we're close now. I'll turn. Now look, see where this is? I want it about right here. Here's what I'm telling you about the ingenuity of this 510 connector. It's precise. Where I point it is where it shoots. Like right now I'm in. Well, let's do it this way. Here I want it about right there. Okay? And it will be right there. There's no freaking guesstimation. There's no, I wonder if that's it. So essentially the 510 threads are mated up in the mod to a real, that little connector has the same thread and pitch, I guess you would say, as the 510 on an atomizer. Beautiful little thoughtful detail. Makes it very easy to align it. Doesn't take long at all to set it up. So then you get it, and you'll see that when everything's working according to plan, it tells you the readout of your atomizer, the resistance of your atomizer, how many volts it's kicking your battery up to. Your chip is up converting, or whatever you call it. I don't know the terminology. I don't make sonics a tool, but how many volts it's kicking it up to with that many ohms to get you that many watts. You're seeing an F. If I had it in temperature control mode, you can do all that. This chip has temp control. I'm not the temp control dude. Same here, pretty much the same build. Battery's a little lower. But that's the deal. What a clean, beautiful aesthetic. Look at this. If I can get that down a little tighter, and I may tighten it down, but just look at that gap all the way around. The precision of it. There's no cockeyedness in it. The 510, these Catchcups, the details on these mods and the attention to said details, to me, is in its own little realm. It's in its own little realm. Okay, they look like they were designed by an architect. I gotta throw props to Paulo on that. They look architecturally designed, and the execution of them, the gaps, everything being quite perfect. 425, 450 bucks. Well, where I've been spending my 425 to 450, these to me are a huge value. Let's take them for a little run. Huge value. Can't wait to get my next one. I'm probably going to think of about 15 things I didn't cover that I want to cover next time. Hopefully I mentioned enough how no juice ever seeps or comes out around either of these 510s, inside or outside the mod. That's huge to me because I'm a freak. Clean presentation, just a very elegant yet durable compact mod. I don't know if I've showed you one next to, say, like a Rio Grande. Rio Grande is like the squonker that's been around forever. Every squonker's probably seen one, had one, has them. I'll always have them. There's your size next to a Rio Grande. Not much bigger, the E8, than the Rio Grande. Hell of a mod. Hell of a good couple of guys to deal with. I've had direct interaction with Paulo on Facebook Instant Messenger. That's pretty much how I talked to him. After I bought this one secondhand from Emilio on Squonker's Paradise, I immediately said I need another one. And I was able to reach out to Paulo. I got pretty much indoctrinated into the family like that. Like, just getting one puts you as like family status with SunBox people. And he happened to be at a show. He's at a show now, by the way, in Houston. He happened to be at a show, so as soon as he got back, he hit me up and said, sure, man, I could hook you up with an E8. You know, I got these colors, a nice rare red one and this and that, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, because, I mean, I see people like just freaking out to get them. But I guess they go through times where they've got them in stock, and then times they don't. He just happened to have a couple left that he couldn't fit in his bag for the show, basically. So that's how I snagged this one. Wait till you see this E7 I got coming. Awesome making a movie for you guys, my Squonker's Paradise people. My YouTube followers, thank you very much. SunBox lovers only. Again, happy birthday, Andrea. Hope it's been a rocking day for you. I know you guys are away from your families and stuff. Hope you get back quick and safe and soon. And this is Super X, aka Russ, saying good night, y'all.